Hi guys, Harry here, and with the release of Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon has hit the milestone of 1,000 Pokemon. Actually, they have gone over that milestone. It is 1,008 Pokemon to be precise, and that is just amazing. From back in 1996, from the 151 Pokemon, now we are at 1,008. And back in the early days with just the original 151, you couldn't even catch Mew apart from in a glitch in red, blue or yellow. So it is amazing that we have now such an abundance of Pokemon. Of course, this was revealed on the Pokemon YouTube channel, and it started off, of course, with Bulbasaur, and the other Kanto starters, Charmander and Squirtle. So maybe Bulbasaur is the first Pokemon. I don't know if you know, this meme or question where it's like, what is the first Pokemon ever created? Is it Bulbasaur because it was first in the Dex? Was it Arceus because he is the god of all Pokemon? Was it Rhydon because he was the first Pokemon ever created? Or was it Mew because basically every Pokemon's DNA comes from Mew, and Mew is the backstory of Mewtwo and Ditto, and all their DNA basically comes from Mew. But maybe with this being revealed, it is revealed that Bulbasaur is the one and only first Pokemon. And then it, of course, ends with Miraidon. Koraidon and Miraidon, of course, those are the two legendaries of course, Scarlet and Violet, and Miraidon is the final Pokemon in that Dex list. But I thought, with all those 1,008 Pokemon being revealed, I thought now would be a good time to go over all my favourites. My favourite Pokemon of each type. So not my top 18 favourite Pokemon, but my favourite Pokemon of every type. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, to start this list off, I will be going from... well, I will end with my favourite Pokemon. Of course, I all like these Pokemon. These are my favourite Pokemon of each type. But I am going to end with my favourite Pokemon of all time. It's going to be number 1. So, starting at number 18, for Ice type, we have Frostlass. And I just love Frostlass. It's like this ghostly ghoul-like woman. And it's just so cool. I used it in Brilliant Diamond when I played through that game. It was amazing. I used it on my team, and it just put in so much work. I just really loved it. And at number 17, for Poison type, we have Toxtricity. Now, Toxtricity, I loved its design. I absolutely loved it. It was so cool, and the way that it was always like playing an air guitar, I just think it was so cool. Again, teamed up with Electric. I love Electric types. An Electric Poison type was just so cool to me. And the design of Toxtricity, I just love it. And the purple and yellow go so well together in the colour scheme. And I think they really make Toxtricity... well, I really like its design. I think it's a great poison type. And at number 16, for Grass type, we have Sceptile. Sceptile is great. I love Sceptile. It's just such a cool grass type. Of course, it's the starter from the Hoenn region, and I love all the Hoenn starters, but Sceptile is just, I don't know, I think it is really cool. There's something about it. Also getting a dragon type Mega, that Mega is so cool, even though a lot of people say it looks a bit like a Christmas tree. You can't deny that it is also not cool. It is amazing. And Sceptile, Ash's Sceptile, defeated Darkrai in the Sinnoh anime. And that has just... so Sceptile, in my mind as a child, has stuck out as one of the strongest Pokemon ever. So, at number 15, for Bug, we have Vikavolt. Vikavolt is amazing. Actually, in some playthroughs I did of the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games, Vikavolt was one of the Pokemon that KO'd Ultra and Necrozma. I played through that twice. One of them was a Pokemon that I will be mentioning later on in this list, but another one of them was Vikavolt. Quick Claw activated, crit Bug Buzzed, and killed Ultra and Necrozma. I just think it was amazing. And also, in the anime, it has been perceived as a massive threat. And even in the games, it can deal like a massive amount of damage, as I said, killing Ultra Necrozma, and it just looks so cool. And bug type are usually seen as they're pretty weak or they don't look that great, but Vikavolt is not weak and it looks great as well. At number 14, for rock type, we have Rhyperior, and I don't know, it's just amazing. Rhyperior is a later on evolution of a previous generation Pokemon, and it was in this Gen 4 cluster of evolution Pokemon, and I think they all look really cool. And Rhyperior, I don't know, it just gets bonus marks for being in the Gen 4 evolution area. And also in Pokemon Go, it was my highest CP Pokemon for a long time. And at number 13, for fairy type, we have Dashman, and it's just lovely. It's like a little pastry dog. How can you not love it? I love dogs. I absolutely love dogs. I have a dog of my own. I love him, and I love, well, a lot of other dogs as well, but of course my dog is always top. And having a dog that I could use in my playthrough team of Pokemon Scarlet, I don't know, it was just amazing to have like a little fairy type dog, and he actually pulled in a lot of weight and did amazingly towards the end of the game, especially in the Elite Four. I don't know, it's just lovely to have like a pastry dog is just such a good Pokemon to me. At number 12, for dark type, we have Crocodile. Now, Crocodile is just so cool. Again, I have attachment to it in using it when I was playing through Pokemon Black. It was just amazing. Pulled so much weight. It was one of the strongest members of my team. And also, I've grown, again, more attached to it as when I was researching the Ash Ketchum Best Pokemon League team. I will link that video up in the cards above. It just did so much work in there, and it made it cement itself as my favourite Dark-type Pokemon of every time. And of course, it looks cool. Even more cool was Ash Ketchum's Crocodile. As it was wearing sunglasses, it was just amazing. And at number 11, for Steel-type, we have Dialga. Dialga, amazing. It is the legendary of Pokemon Diamond, the first game I have ever played. So that legendary for that region has a big attachment to me. Well, I have a big attachment to it. It's just amazing. A Dragon Steel type is just so cool as Steel Resist Dragon. That was so cool to me as a kid, and it's still cool to me now. But also the fact that it is basically the Lord of Time, a Time Lord. If you watch all my content, or even just see all the videos and watch my Pokemon content, but see all my videos, you know that Doctor Who is a big part of, well, me. So having a Pokemon that is basically a Time Lord was insane to me. A Time Lord Pokemon was definitely going to be one of my favourite Pokemon. And at number 10, for Dragon, we have Garchomp. Garchomp, the pseudo-legendary of Sinnoh, of course. Sinnoh was the region in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. Again, Pokemon Diamond was my first game. So, of course, the Dragon-type pseudo-legendary from that region, Garchomp, was going to be one of my favourite Pokemon. And I also used him in a playthrough of Pokemon X. I love that. I just went through Pokemon X, and he was amazing. Picked him up just after the 4th gym, and he put in so much work, immediately destroying the next electric-type gym. And Garchomp is just so cool. Cynthia having Garchomp, having to go up against the final boss, which was Garchomp, when I was a child, just cemented Garchomp as one of the best Pokemon of all time. And at number 8, for Psychic, we're not stopping there with pseudo-legendaries. Metagross. Metagross is insane. Again, it was the top Pokemon of a champion, Stephen Stone of the Hoenn region, and I don't know, Metagross always looks so cool. Having like a supercomputer brain and being part psychic type just made so much sense, and it was so amazing. And also I used it in my Pokemon Ultra Sun playthrough, where that was the other Pokemon that KO'd Ultra Necrozma. It was the only one that survived an attack from it. The only one that survived an attack from it and letting it KO. And it's just saying, I think that says it all, that Metagross was the only Pokemon that I know of that could have survived an attack from Ultra Necrozma, which it did, and then KO'd it. And I don't know, it was just amazing. And Metagross has always, for being a top Pokemon of a champion, has always been a cool Pokemon in my eyes. And at number 8, for Ghost type, we have Aegislash. Aegislash, again, I just think is so cool. Like it literally being a sword and shield, and its blade form and its shield form being so different, it being so tanky when it's in its shield form, and then so much of a glass cannon in its attack form, but being able to take hits as well as dish them out just makes it amazing. Of course, being ghost type resistant to normal and fighting, which would have really hurt its other type, which is steel. But Aegislash being a sword and shield and pulling so much weight in my Pokemon X when I played through that as well. I used Aegislash then. It was so good. It is definitely my favourite ghost type. And at number 7, for water, we have Greninja. Now Greninja, another Pokemon I used in Pokemon X, and it was my starter. It did amazing. Again, I really had an attachment to it from seeing Greninja, Ash Greninja in the Pokemon anime. It was amazing, and the fact that it kind of just bonded with Ash because it loved him so much. Kind of a bit broken that my Greninja didn't bond with me, but I know what it is. It's anime lore. But Greninja, without Battle Bond, was still amazing in my Pokemon X playthrough. It pulled so much work. And at number 6, for fighting, we have Lucario. Now, Lucario is just great. It's a steel fighting type from the Sinnoh region. Again, I love Sinnoh, and you literally get gifted a Riolu egg, and it was amazing. And then moving past even Sinnoh, I used it in Pokemon Black 2, and Pokemon Black 2 is one of my favourite teams of all time that I have ever used, and Lucario was in there. Probably my favourite team of all time. And also, Lucario I then used in Pokemon X as well, because you get gifted a Mega Lucario, and I couldn't turn down a Mega Lucario. I tried to use different Pokemon, but I can't turn down a Mega Lucario, and I used Lucario in Pokemon Black 2 where it did amazing. Lucario just puts in so much work, and then seeing Ash's Lucario in Gala just be amazing cemented that Lucario was one of my favourite Pokemon. And at number 5, for flying type, we have Staraptor. Now, normally you look at the first birds in the first rate as they're not that good, but Staraptor puts that thought to bed, as it is amazing. It did so amazing. I love Staraptor. It's just, again, from Sinnoh is probably why I love it so much, but it looks so cool as well. Seeing the Staraptors in the anime, seeing Ash's Staraptor and Paul's older brother Reggie, I think his name is, seeing their Staraptors was just amazing, made them seem so much cooler. And a little fun thing I like to do, when I use Staraptor again after my first playthrough in the Sinnoh region, I used Staraptor against Byron's Bastiodon and close combated it till it fainted. Staraptor KO'd it in one hit, just one close combat needed, and that just seems so funny to me, a flying type taking down a steel rock type. And at number 4, for normal type, we have Whismur, particularly Shiny Whismur. Now you might be thinking, well, that's cheating, or why is Whismur on this list? And that is because Whismur was the first shiny Pokemon I ever caught. Full odds, first shiny Pokemon I ever caught, and it has become my favourite normal type because of that. Whismur is just is my first shiny Pokemon of all time. I'm sure if you have found a shiny Pokemon, it has entered your top 10 favourite Pokemon, and Whismur has made it at number 4, my favourite normal type, in my top 10 favourite of all time, but number 4 on this list, because just finding this shiny full odds was amazing. And number 3, for ground type, we have Hippowdon, and I know Hippowdon might be overlooked, but it is amazing. This Pokemon was the Pokemon that KO'd Cynthia's Garchomp when I played through Brilliant Diamond. It just did amazing. It did amazing in the late game. It came through against, obviously, Volkner, taking down basically its entire team apart from Octillery. But it was amazing. And it taking down the final boss, Cynthia's Garchomp, just cemented it as an amazing, amazing Pokemon in my mind. And at number 2, for electric type, we have Electivire. Now, Electivire, another evolution later off that came in the Sinnoh region. Again, another reason why I think it is so cool, but I always loved it. I loved it because Paul had an Electivire that came from an Electabuzz that carried on throughout the series. Also, Electivire was the main reason Ash continued his adventure into the Sinnoh region, as Gary beat Ash's Pikachu with Electivire. Me watching that as a kid, one of the first anime episodes I ever watched, cemented Electivire beating Ash's Pikachu as the strongest Pokemon of all time. I know it's not now, but to child me, it was. And also the fact that I got to play through with an Electabuzz in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was amazing. And then I got a shiny Electivire in Legends Arceus. Electivire has just come from strength to strength with me liking it, which definitely earns it number 2 as my top electric type on this list. And then number 1, not only my favourite fire Pokemon of all time, but my favourite Pokemon of all time is Infernape. Infernape was my starter in Pokemon Diamond, my first ever starter. I just chose it and I loved it so much. Seeing Ash's Chimchar, Monferno, Infernape grow throughout that anime, finally defeating Paul and his Electivire, amazing. Again, I said how much Electivire, how strong I thought it was as a child, and Infernape defeating that, and also me using it throughout my playthrough, and again, me reclaiming that starter again in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl when I played through that for the first time. Having that starter again, it put me back to when I first fell in love with Pokemon, and Infernape will always be a memory to me of why I love Pokemon so much. It is my favourite Pokemon of all time, and that is why Infernape is number 1. It's just the best. So, just to recap, my favourite Pokemon of every type go Frostlass for Ice type, Toxtricity for Poison type, Sceptile for Grass type, Vikavolt for Bug type, Rhyperior for Rock type, Dashburn for Fairy type, Crocodile for Dark type, Dialga for Steel type, Garchomp for Dragon type, Metagross for Psychic type, Aegislash for Ghost type, Greninja for Water type, Lucario for Fighting type, Staraptor for Flying type, Shiny Whismur for Normal type, Hippowdon for Ground type, Electivire for Electric type, and at the top, Infernape for Fire type. But let me know down in the comments below what your favourite Pokemon of every type were. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.